GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. This weekend's subway, LIRR, and NJ transit changes will stretch commutes, and a severe thunderstorm watch looms over the city. Expect heavy traffic as road closures bite. In local news, Queens civil court judge was removed for illegal practice. Over to you, Andre.
The Brooklyn Botanic Garden will host a free sunrise yoga session this Saturday on the Japanese Hill and Pond Garden, beginning at 7 a.m., open to all ages.
Tickets aren't required. Participants can simply arrive, bring a mat, and enjoy the guided practice led by certified instructor Maya Patel, who volunteers with the garden.
The garden will also provide complimentary herbal tea after the session, featuring chamomile and mint blends, available in the garden's visitor center from 7:15 to 8 a.m.
Lots to get to, Vivian says, so let's get started and dive into the news, staying informed about our vibrant city. Here are our top stories. Planned maintenance this weekend will disrupt Subway, Long Island Railroad, and New Jersey Transit service, extending travel times across the city, Long Island, and New Jersey on Saturday and Sunday. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
Commuters face longer rides this weekend as the MTA, Long Island Railroad, and NJ Transit roll out scheduled service changes. On Saturday and Sunday, August 8th and 9th, 2026, planned maintenance will reduce subway frequencies on several lines across New York City, suspend some Long Island Railroad trips, and limit NJ Transit schedules into New Jersey. Riders should expect extended wait times at stations, altered train routes, and possible crowding during peak periods. Alerts on digital boards and mobile apps will point travelers to alternative services, but the disruptions are likely to add minutes to typical commutes throughout the city, Long Island, and neighboring New Jersey. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, New York City.
National Weather Service officials have placed a severe thunderstorm watch over New York City and the surrounding tri-state region, effective now through 9 p.m. tonight. Meteorologists say atmospheric conditions are aligning for potentially damaging winds, large hail, and isolated heavy rain, prompting the watch. Residents across Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island should stay alert for rapid changes in weather, especially in open areas and near water. The watch remains in force as forecasters monitor evolving storm cells that could produce brief but intense downpours. Commuters are advised to keep an eye on transit updates, as the MTA may experience localized service disruptions. Emergency responders stand ready, and officials urge anyone outdoors to seek shelter promptly if conditions worsen. The National Weather Service will issue further advisories if storms intensify.
New York City Health Department announced an aerial larviciding operation set to begin next week over wetlands in Queens, Staten Island, and other city marshes. The spray, designed to target mosquito larvae that transmit West Nile virus, will be applied from low-altitude aircraft following a recent spike in carrier populations. Officials said the treatment focuses on standing water in parks, utility easements, and coastal salt flats where breeding thrives. Residents in the affected boroughs are advised to stay indoors while pilots conduct passes at dawn and dusk, times when mosquitoes are most active. The department emphasized that the chemical has been approved by the Environmental Protection Agency and poses no risk to people or pets when used as directed. This effort aims to curb the seasonal surge and protect public health throughout the summer.
NYC ferry technicians and welders have voted unanimously to join the Transport Workers Union, with 61 of 65 members approving the move to secure higher wages and stronger benefits. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
65 ferry technicians and welders gathered at the dock early this morning as ballots were counted. 61 hands rose in favor, none against, delivering a unanimous vote to join the Transport Workers Union. Workers said the move is aimed at locking in higher wages and stronger benefits as they navigate the city's waterways. The decision adds the ferry crew to the TWU's growing roster of transport employees, linking them with bus drivers, subway staff, and other city workers. As the sun reflected off the water, crew members exchanged remarks about solidarity and the future of their jobs, while union representatives prepared paperwork to formalize the affiliation. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Manhattan.
The New York City Bar Association's Professional Ethics Committee issued a clarification today on the Safe Harbor Conflict of Interest rule that permits law firms to avoid conflicts when recruiting new attorneys. The guidance refines the guidance released last year, spelling out how firms may rely on the Safe Harbor provision to sidestep potential ethical pitfalls when a lawyer moves between practices. By defining the circumstances under which the rule applies, the committee aims to give firms a more predictable pathway to hire talent without breaching professional standards. The clarification arrives as firms across Manhattan and the outer boroughs grapple with a competitive talent market and heightened scrutiny of lawyer transitions. The Bar Association said the update will help firms navigate ethical obligations while maintaining flexibility in staffing decisions. The clarification is expected to influence hiring practices throughout the city's legal community. Later we'll dive into the Queen's Civil Court judge removal, plus our weekend heat outlook. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Queen's Civil Court lost a sitting judge this morning after the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct ordered his removal. The commission concluded the judge continued to practice law while on the bench, allowed a felon status paralegal to manage his chambers, and mishandled client funds that should have been held in trust. In addition, the judge failed to file required financial disclosures, violating the court's ethical standards. The oversight body, which has authority to discipline and remove members of the judiciary for misconduct, said the cumulative violations left no alternative but removal. City officials noted that the action underscores the commission's commitment to maintaining integrity within the city's legal system. The former judge's case joins a growing list of recent disciplinary measures aimed at upholding ethical conduct across New York's courts.
New York City Council will hold an oversight hearing on the newly implemented luxury second home tax, as thousands of owners seek exemptions under Mayor Mamdani's pied-à-terre plan. Dominic Salerno has the full story.
The council chamber will host an oversight hearing this week on the city's newly rolled-out luxury second home levy. Officials say the measure, championed by Mayor Mamdani's team, aims to pull extra funds into the municipal budget by taxing high-value pied-à-terre properties. Already, thousands of owners have filed exemption petitions, arguing the tax unfairly burdens investors and occasional occupants. Council members are set to question the administration's rollout plan, looking at how the program was communicated and whether the exemption process is transparent. Critics on the floor warn the tax could push buyers toward neighboring markets, while supporters point to the revenue boost as essential for upcoming projects. I'll keep you posted as details emerge. Dominic Salerno, GMNA News, New York City.
Bronx public defenders will return to the Bronx County Courthouse today after a 2-week strike ended with a new pay and benefits agreement. The settlement raises salaries for attorneys and expands health coverage and retirement contributions for support staff. The work stoppage had forced the criminal docket to pause, delaying arraignments and hearings across the borough. Court officials said the first sessions are slated to begin this afternoon, with judges ready to reactivate pending cases. The city's Office of the Public Advocate hailed the deal as a step toward stabilizing indigent defense, while the district attorney's office noted the importance of restoring full courtroom operations. Both the defenders' union and the mayor's office confirmed the agreement will take effect immediately, ending the disruption that had plagued the Bronx legal system.
Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch announced a heightened police deployment for the National Dominican Day parade scheduled for Sunday, August 9th in Manhattan. The NYPD will station specialized gun and gang units throughout the route and maintain a visible presence after the celebration ends. This move follows a recent seizure of 16 firearms during and after the Bronx Dominican Day parade less than 2 weeks ago. Officials say the reinforced teams aim to interdict weapons and disrupt gang activity linked to the event. Officers will coordinate with parade organizers and community leaders, employing both uniformed patrols and undercover agents to monitor crowds. Tish emphasized that safety remains the department's top priority and that the added resources reflect a proactive response to the recent findings. The enhanced presence is set to begin Saturday night and continue through the parade's conclusion on Sunday.
Reading proficiency in New York City public schools has slipped to 50% this year as the Department of Education rolls out a citywide literacy overhaul. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
Reading scores in New York City public schools have slipped, with just half of students reaching proficiency on the latest state assessments. The Department of Education says the dip appears as the city rolls out a comprehensive overhaul of literacy instruction, introducing new curricula across elementary and middle schools. Officials point to the transition period as a factor, noting teachers are still adapting lesson plans and materials. The state report shows the proficiency rate falling from previous years to 50%, a change that city leaders say will be addressed through additional training and support for educators. Parents and community groups are watching the rollout closely as schools aim to close the gap. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, Manhattan.
Now let's check tonight's forecast and see how this heat will shape our weekend coming up. A tightening ridge and a westward jet pulse set the stage for tonight's brief, heavy downtown downpour. On this date, New York's all-time heat record stands at 91 degrees, set in 2022 during a lingering midsummer heat wave that pushed the city into a triple-digit streak. The cold extreme is 54 degrees, recorded in 2015 when an Arctic surge slipped southward, blanketing the boroughs in an unseasonal freeze. By contrast, the climatological normals hover around 88 degrees high and 73 degrees low, making today's expected 90-degree peak feel right on the warm side of average. The live radar shows a band of moderate echo moving eastward across the Hudson Valley, intensifying as it approaches the city around 7 p.m. Heavy cores sit just west of Manhattan, fed by the low-level jet that is steering moisture from the Atlantic. By 8 p.m. the echoes will dissipate, leaving clear skies for the night. The quiet elsewhere confirms a stable, dry air mass under a rising ridge, so no further rain is expected. At 6 p.m. the city sits at 88 degrees with a feels-like temperature of 97, humidity at 68%, and a southeast breeze of 12 miles per hour gusting up to 26. Pressure is near average and nudging upward, allowing a drier, more stable air column to build over the region. The jet stream overhead, flowing west at 19 miles per hour, is capping convection but still provides enough lift for a brief pulse of rain that will slam the downtown area around 7 p.m., then clear by 8. UV index sits at 7, and wind will peak at 22 miles per hour from the southwest later this evening. No weather alerts are in effect, so the night will transition from a short, heavy shower to clear, calm conditions. Looking ahead, Saturday will bring a clear sky with a high of 86 and a low of 73, the ridge strengthening as the jet stream lifts north. Sunday remains dry, nudging up to a high of 91 and a low of 72 under high pressure. Monday repeats the 91-degree peak with a low of 70, keeping the atmosphere locked in subsidence. Tuesday introduces a modest Pacific trough, bringing overcast skies and a 20% chance of rain, while temperatures dip to a high of 86 and a low of 73. Wednesday stays overcast with a high of 88 and a low of 72, as the trough lingers before the ridge returns for the weekend. The pattern offers a mix of warm, dry days punctuated by a mid-week rain window. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. Heavy traffic ahead, our chamber spotlight on the East Village student housing deal, and Friday's Yankees-Braves showdown. More in a moment. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Hutchinson River Parkway Bridge is closed in the Bronx, forcing all traffic onto southbound lanes of the parkway and onto the Cross Bronx Expressway. Expect a 3-mile backup from the Bronx River Parkway to the Bruckner interchange, with travel times adding 20 minutes or more. The closure is for structural repairs and will remain in place through the weekend. On Brooklyn side, Brooklyn-Queens Expressway eastbound has lane reductions between the Brooklyn Bridge and Columbia Heights as crews relocate a concrete barrier. That work creates a 2-lane bottleneck, adding roughly 15 minutes to trips toward Long Island City and Jamaica. Drivers can use the Manhattan Bridge or the Queens Midtown Tunnel as alternatives, though those routes are also seeing moderate flow. All other major arteries, including the FDR Drive and the West Side Highway, are moving freely. In transit, the Hudson Line runs a weekend schedule, with trains every 2 hours and a shuttle between Grand Central and Yonkers for those heading north.
Lincoln Center just unveiled its upcoming season, spotlighting a reunion of Audra McDonald and Billy Porter for a concert version of Shuffle Along, a must-see moment for any Broadway lover. Down by the water, the Blues Barbecue Festival is in full swing at Hudson River Park, where you can sink your teeth into award-winning barbecue while the blues bands keep the summer heat humming. At New York City Center, Io Edebiri steps into the role of Snoopy in the star-studded revival of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, sharing the stage with David Hyde Pierce, Danielle Brooks, and Jin Ha, a fresh, witty take on a classic that's drawing crowds now. And over in Gramercy, the Tavern has launched a Behind the Bar series, kicking off with Miami's Café La Trova, offering cocktail enthusiasts a chance to learn the craft behind award-winning drinks while sipping the city's finest. And now here's Desmond with sports.
Friday's roundup fires up New York's sports scene from baseball to football. Max Fried steps onto the mound Friday night in the Bronx, facing a Yankees lineup brimming with familiar faces. His veteran poise could dictate the early innings, forcing New York to lean on its bullpen depth and test the rotation's flexibility as the series unfolds. Mrs. Met earns a historic spot in the 2026 Mascot Hall of Fame, becoming the first female inductee and joining Mr. Met as the Mets claim the league's inaugural husband-wife duo. The honor spotlights the franchise's family-friendly brand and adds a new chapter to its mascot legacy. The latest episode of Today Your Love, Tomorrow the World Series breaks down the 2026 deadline deals, weighing how the Mets' acquisitions reshaped their roster for the unexpected Cleveland run. Listeners get a candid look at the front office's gamble and the chemistry that sparked the postseason surge. Jeffrey Yan celebrated his first career strikeout in Cleveland, a bright spot amid the Mets' post-deadline slump that left their winning priority in question. The Rude Boys chatter underscores a deeper identity crisis, prompting New York to reassess its roster construction before the stretch run. Today marks Don Larson's birthday, honoring the pitcher who delivered the only perfect game in World Series history. While the Yankees celebrate the legend, the franchise reflects on how that 1956 triumph still shapes its culture of clutch performance and reverence for baseball lore. Ardarius Washington embodies the chess piece archetype, offering the Giants a flexible safety who can shift across the secondary as injuries dictate. That adaptability boosts his roster value, yet the constant role changes may hinder his path to a permanent starting spot, a dilemma the coaching staff must balance.
Hawkins Way Capital and Vard Partners, with a fresh purchase in the East Village, just closed on a historic 9-story building for $28 million. The property joins a growing portfolio that now spans 7 New York City neighborhoods, each focused on purpose-built student housing. By converting the East Village site into modern, affordable apartments for university students, the firms are not only meeting a tight housing demand but also injecting new life into a block that's seen a steady stream of young residents and local businesses. It's a win-win. Students get safe, convenient homes, and the neighborhood retains the energy that keeps its streets lively. That's why this investment matters to the fabric of New York City. Stay with us as we break down the extreme weekend heat and the MTA's new subway ads coming up next. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Extreme heat will blanket New York City this weekend, with temperatures climbing well above normal and a heightened risk of severe thunderstorms, officials say. Raphael Brannigan has the full story.
Temperatures are set to climb well above normal this weekend, with Saturday expected to hit the mid-70s Fahrenheit and Sunday not far behind. Residents across the 5 boroughs will feel the heat intensify from sunrise through the evening, and humidity will make it feel even hotter. Meteorologists say the air mass driving the heat is also primed to spawn isolated thunderstorms, so brief downpours may interrupt the sweltering conditions. The National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory, citing concerns about heat-related illness during the peak hours. Parks, rooftops, and street corners will all feel the same oppressive warmth as the city braces for the weekend surge. Raphael Brannigan, GMNA News, New York City.
MTA officials say new ad placements across subway stations, including West 4th Street, are generating additional revenue, even as riders voice complaints about the growing commercial presence. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
At West 4th Street Station, commuters are walking past a new wave of advertisements plastered on the walls, mosaics, and even the turnstiles. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority says the expanded ad inventory is pulling in extra cash to help balance its budget. Inside the station, riders are voicing frustration, saying the growing sea of posters and digital screens makes the environment feel cluttered and distracts from navigation. Some passengers point to the bright banners covering historic tile work as a loss of the system's character. The MTA, however, notes that the additional revenue from these placements is earmarked for service improvements and infrastructure upgrades. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, West 4th Street.
Thank you, New York City, for joining us this evening. Tonight's look at the NYPD's increased presence for the Dominican Day Parade highlighted our community's commitment to safety. I'm Vivian Castellanos, and I appreciate you making the local sunset part of your day. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you.